Hello everyone, my name is Ali Sherrick and I'm the author of two books, Black Powder, which is all about two children that get caught up in the infamous gunpowder plot, and The Buried Crown, which is about two children, a brave young evacuee and a German Jewish refugee girl who get caught up in a plot to steal some priceless Anglo-Saxon treasure for Adolf Hitler during the Second World War. I'm a bit of a time traveller and I'm a bit of a treasure digger, treasure hunter as well. And I've got a small treasure chest here with some very special treasure inside it. And I thought while you're watching and listening, you could maybe be having a think about what sort of thing might be inside. I'll just give it a rattle for you. Okay, and we'll come back to that at the end, see if you got it right. But I have an even bigger box of treasure here. I don't know if you can see that. It's covered with lots of lovely sparkles. And this is treasure going back in time, back in my past. So I thought perhaps we could have a little rummage around in the next few minutes and see what's inside. And I'll tell you a little bit about each item. So without further ado, now the first thing I find inside is a picture. Now this is a picture of me, the young Ali Sherrick, and as you can hopefully see, I've got a book in front of me at the bottom. It was taken when I was about 5 or 6. It was my first official school photo at infant school. But the truth is, when I first started school, I wasn't really very good at reading. I struggled with it. I struggled to make sense of the dots and the dashes on the page. And I had to have a lot of extra help from my mum and dad, who used to read to me at home, and also from my teachers. And then gradually, I don't know, something started to click and I began to really understand what I was looking at and to really enjoy stories. And so I turned from that sort of little girl into one who loved nothing better than to have my nose in a book. So I was a definite bookworm later on. Two more treasures I've got in the box here are two of the books, the actual books that I read when I was around about your age, around about 9, 10, 11. The first one is by a brilliant writer, Joan Aiken, and it's called The Wolves of Willoughby Chase. And it's set in a time that never really existed, when good King James was on the throne, good King James III, and wolves were roaming the land. And it's a story about two brave young cousins called Bonnie and Sylvie who have to defeat an evil woman called Miss Slycarp, who's their governess. And then this book here is a book by Penelope Lively. It's called The Ghost of Thomas Kemp, and it's all about a poltergeist that comes forward in time to haunt a young boy called James, and Thomas Kemp is after something, as all goes sour. So once I got the habit for reading and enjoying reading, then of course I started writing my own creative work. Now, I was just going to share with you a poem, which is my first published success. It's called Fireworks, which is rather spooky given that my first story, as I mentioned, is about the gunpowder plot. And I wrote this poem when I was probably about 7 and it got put on the wall. So I really think of it as my first published success. Okay, so if you've had anything on the wall, well, congratulations, you're authors too. Now, I thought perhaps I'd read it to you so you can just see the sort of thing I was doing. Fireworks at night make a colourful light. Rockets zooming, bangers exploding, parachutes falling in pretty colours, silver fountains dropping to the ground, jumping jacks make a sudden sound. People love it, they shout for fun. Fireworks night has just begun. So I went on from there. I started really enjoying my writing too, and I wrote what I think of as my first book. And this is it. I even made a special cover and did some drawing for it on the front. Of course, when you open it, you can see I've sort of cheated a bit. Pages are coming out, but it's this sort of paper. Very neat handwriting, I hope you'll notice. But I was very proud of that. I do think of that as my first book. So that was the sort of thing that I was doing. Now, I was thinking about my story, The Buried Crown. And there's something else in here which was a bit of an inspiration for me when I was thinking up that story. And it's this old photo. I've blown it up a lot bigger so that you can see. And it's of some young boys in the Second World War. Now, this little boy with the very white blonde hair in the middle is my dad, George. And I used him as the inspiration for my hero, George Penny in The Buried Crown, because George, like my dad, is an evacuee, okay? And the other thing that inspired me was this very famous discovery that happened just before the war. And it was the discovery of a marvellous ship at a place called Sutton Hoo in Suffolk, which they found buried in the ground. The ship had rotted away, but they found all this wonderful treasure inside. I don't know if you can see that. And some colour pictures too, the wonderful helmet and other decorations, all in gold and garnets and all sorts of precious stones and metals. And so I used that as the inspiration for my story as well. And it's all about a gang of Nazi treasure thieves who actually want to try and steal a precious object which George and Kitty believe is still in the ground. Now, where have I got it? Here we are. My crown, my wonderful, priceless Anglo-Saxon crown. And to discover whether Hitler and his band of Nazis get hold of it, you'll have to read the story. Now, something else which is a bit of a treasure of mine, which I've been using to inspire my new story, which is called The Queen's Fool, and which comes out next year, is this wonderful bird whistle, which I got on my holidays. And this is an inspiration for my character, Kat, because she loves music and she loves playing on her bird flute, her precious bird flute, which she got from her mum, who is now dead, sadly. So I'm going to give you a little tune. So that's another very precious thing to me. And obviously when the book comes out, look out for the bird whistle inside that story. Now, I did say to you at the end that I would reveal to you what is in my little treasure box here. I don't know if you've had a chance to guess. Is it marbles? Is it jewellery? Is it coins? Well, let's open the lid and see, shall we? And what do we have inside? We've got pebbles. Wonderful, smooth, sea-polished pebbles, which I picked up from a beach in Cornwall on a recent holiday. And I love these. And they may not be worth much money, no money actually, but they are very precious to me because they are so beautiful. It just goes to show you that treasure doesn't have to be worth lots of money. There's loads more treasure to come from some of the other Chicken House authors on the Cooped Up Kids programme. And I do hope you enjoy that. And I hope that you've enjoyed listening to me and some of my treasure stories. Thank you.